Good to see you, Julian.
Yeah, same here. I'm very caffeinated, and I know you couldn't wait to talk about this show ever since the season started.
Very true, man. I just am so excited to be able to promote, just slipping, right down to the wire, and now here we are. But I know that you've seen it already because we follow each other on and it's such an incredible cliffhanger finale, wonderfully directed again by Deon Taylor, and crafted so beautifully by Gary Lennon.
When did you find out that this finale would end on a cliffhanger?
Gary drops hints before the script comes out about kind of the direction and where the story's going, so I can have an understanding of where the character's going. And then I think that really in the editing, like we have a wonderful post producer named Tim Christensen, who's a phenomenal editor. But one of the things about Gary Lennon that people don't realize is Gary is an incredible editor as well. So a
Hmm.
lot of the times the scripts are so succinct because Gary's going over them, knowing what's going to be shot and how that's going to be come to life in the edit. But that said, he always encourages actors to go with their impulse if they're feeling something. And I think that that's another reason why there have been such strong performances this season, all the way from Brian Keyes, who unfortunately met his demise in episode 7, all
Yeah.
the way down to Chris Lofton or Shane Harper. I think that these characters have really emerged, and he's breathed such life into them because he's giving the actors permission to go with their instincts.
This goes to my next question, Joseph, because for the whole back half of the season, Tommy finds out that Vic is a snitch, and I feel like Tommy could have just put him out instantly right there in the next episode. Why do you feel like it took long for that revelation to come out?
I think because Gary has really wisely found those elements of Tommy and Ghost, and what elements of Ghost are starting to emerge more in Tommy, just by the osmosis of that brotherhood. I just think that it's so much fun to think of these things that have been alive in Tommy but laid dormant until he needed them. And now he's utilizing these things that have always been there. So I think that rather than doing the what we're sometimes used to as Tommy playing checkers, now we have Tommy playing chess, and it's really exciting to see what he has in store for Vic in the future.
Yeah, especially when that whole raid was about to happen, but they caught Claudia instead. That was quite clever.
Oh yeah, very good. I love that, and I really edited well.
Now, last week when I spoke with the showrunner, he told me that they wanted Chicago to be more of a backdrop and include more things like social issues, speeches, and everything else that went on. Did you feel the same way heading into season 2?
Yeah, I think that Gary did a really wonderful job of balancing what the reality of Chicago is, and that is, obviously uh, a very diverse community and population, but also very sectionalized, and a very heavy Latin influence. And instead of just using Chicago as a backdrop, I think that we've all seen downtown, we've all seen the beautiful skyline of Chicago and on the river, but sometimes you haven't just seen the supermercado, and you haven't just seen these places in Little Village. And actually filming in these neighborhoods where this is supposed to take place, I think was helpful and important, and showing them off, like when she's at the bus stop, when we're in the Serbian restaurant. It's kind of the lifeblood. Sometimes you don't see the forest for the trees, and I think that Gary Lennon did an amazing job of showing the particulars of Chicago rather than these big blanketed images.
Yeah, I feel the same way because I felt it was much more grounded and showed more authenticity towards the entire area.
I think so too, and I think that we have to give a lot of credit to our incredible DP, director of photography, the cinematographer, Joe Jody Williams, who just did an amazing job. He was our consistent, and I think that also he orchestrated such a beautiful and consistent look for our storytelling. So there's a real beginning, middle, and end to this season. And what an end it was. What a great, I mean, Dion killed it. I love working with him so much.
Now that Tommy and Diamond and everyone else got the entire pipeline in Chicago, what do you think? How do you think this will play into the third season?
Well, I think that the big question is sustainability. Tommy has played a lot of chess in this season. So, are people going to feel like they got duped? Are they going to feel like it's fair? I know Miguel is coming for Tommy right now. How is Tommy going to stay at the top? Because his big thing was like, aren't you tired of being at the bottom of the top? And now that Tommy is edging towards the top of the top, he still wants to take everybody out till he's. I mean, Tommy, if Tommy had his way, he'd be down in Colombia picking leaves and doing the refining himself too. One of Tommy's faults is that he's an incredible micromanager, and he still consistently does things where he should be passing that off. And I think that Gary and I both know that when somebody is such a micromanager, it really is a hindrance to progression. It seems like it's a good thing, but it's not.
And going to my next one, we see Tommy with his girl, and now for some reason her brother decided to use her against you. How do you feel about that?
Oh, I mean, that's grimy, but Miguel is grimy. And the question is that is she expendable? How much does Miguel love family? I think that he's pitting that, he's using that, but I think that family is too important. I think when Abuela died in the car explosion, I think we saw that true. I mean, gosh, Manuel Eduardo Ramirez did an amazing job at emoting. Like, that seems so true to me when she passed, how dear she was and how she felt. And I think that he does love his sister. And I wonder if he'd be able to offer, but he may be. I mean, how much does he love the streets? That's always been Tommy's big thing too, with love and then dedication to the streets.
Yeah, especially since we also saw Tommy at the near end of the previous season of Ghost 2. So I'm wondering how the heck he went from New York to Chicago and now back to where he was. But
hey, it's only a 12-hour drive.
You're totally right about that. I had to think about that afterwards. But going to my next question. As far as Tommy's character development, I thought it was very great to see more layers of Tommy for this season. How did you approach that as an actor?
Well, Gary and I work really, really well together. In fact, Gary really has been the true voice of Tommy Egan from the beginning. He understands the characters intrinsically. He grew up with Tommy Egan's in Hell's Kitchen on the west side of Manhattan, so he gets the character, and he really is the voice of the character. I think that Gary gets me, and he pushes me, and he pushes me past the limit. And I think that when you do that, you're in new territory, and everybody likes new territory, but it's still within the boundaries of who this guy is in his spirit and soul. So it's been fun. I love it. I mean, as long as Gary Lennon's involved, I'm interested in exploring the character even more.
My final one for you, because I have to ask since I also cover Walking Dead. Dead City's second season's starting production sometime next year. I'm not sure if you'll be on it or whatnot, but is this a show you would like to be on since I've not seen you on a zombie show before?
Oh man, anything with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, I'm down. I'd love for him to be on our show too, wouldn't you? How fun would that be? I wonder what kind of character, what gangster character that would be. Cartel leader. But yeah, I'll be checking out Dead City for sure.
Thank you so much for your time, Joseph. Now you got a long day ahead of you ever since the strikes came to an end. I'm also happy for you, the crew, and everyone that got what they deserve.
Hey, you've always had our back, Julian. Thanks for your constant and consistent support. Let's get the word out there. Let's break some number records and show this episode to the world.